Thank you for checking out this week's podcast. You're not going to be disappointed. I tell you what, this week we're going to start with AI in the news. I know we keep doing it because it keeps coming up. And then we talk about idiots. Question of the week: DC, are they recasting different from the different TV shows? Do we agree with it? We're going to find out. And also for our main event, that's right, look at here, professional wrestling. We are going to talk about who our Mount Rushmore is of heel wrestlers in honor of the late great Iron Sheik. All of that and a little bit more. Boys and girls, let's start the show.
All right, test.
Test.
Call it again.
Convincing idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the Statman, not just anyone's opinion, the Statman Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Awesome.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
And welcome to the podcast, welcome to the vodcast, welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean. The Zenial.
Brian Genix.
And I am a millennial, and my name is Nick. And if this is your first time joining us, we are Convincing Idiots, a weekly podcast of three different friends representing three different generations. We get together weekly to discuss pop culture and nerd culture and different things of the day in which floats our boat in that particular week. So if you've not already done so, please feel free to find us on all your favorite social media accounts. We can be liked, subscribed to, rated, reviewed, all of this and so much more on all of your favorite social media platforms. Where would you find all of those? Well, let me direct you to our Convincing Idiots link tree. Go to Google and type in Convincing Idiots, LINKTREE, and you will find links that will conveniently take you to all of the social media platforms in which we are on, as well as our website, which is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. There you can find all of our social media links, as well as where you can find our podcast each and every week. Also, our merch store is up there. That's right. Not only can you listen to us, but you can, in fact, wear us. That is correct. We also can be found on Boss Code TV, our friends at Boss Code Media. It is a platform that is driven by original content creators. Ourselves are on there. Our friends on it came from Gen X. So if you are not familiar with Boss Code Media, all you have to do is go on your smart TV or your smart device, your phone, if you will, and search up Boss Code TV. And there you'll find an app that you can download and watch us and so much other cool shit. So, we are back, rejoined once again, all three of us, for another episode of Convincing Idiots. I believe this is episode number 144 that we've been at it now. That is correct.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
our friend Dean, how have you been in the last week?
Oh, you asked me, you're going to get it. I tell you, just when you think that you have all the answers, I changed the question. That's right. Roddy Piper. Come on, guys.
Does he say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was his thing.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. So I am fine. Nothing really to report. I did doing the reviews, but went to see Raiders of the Lost Ark in the
Yeah.
on the big screen in the theater. Right, so
Nice.
just watching some baseball. Nora had a fantastic softball game tonight. Went 4 for 4.
Very
Got
good.
somebody out at first base. She's doing great. Other than that, just working, living, looking like the sexy bitch that I am.
Sure.
All right.
Mm-hmm. What about you guys? Brian, what are you doing? How you doing? How you living?
Good, man. Nice weekend. Great night with Allie. Friday, just hung out, relaxed. Saturday, we enjoyed some backyard movies. Very nice time. And then Sunday, nice family birthday party with Allie's family. And had to hang out with the young Nick here. We sat out and watched the
Me, I'm
NBA.
young.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, nice front porch set up there. He came over.
I'm
We watched
taking
the
notes.
NBA
How did you
finals.
get him to come to your house?
Well, it was
Just-
Brian's invitation, and you weren't there. So that was the
That makes
magical
sense.
number.
That
Yeah,
makes
That's
total
right.
sense.
Good equation there.
All right. One
No,
plus
it
two
was
plus their takeaway. Okay.
That's right. It was a great evening, Nick. Yeah, we hung out, watched the
Yeah,
game, smoked
that was
cigars, sipped some bourbon. It was just a nice,
Yeah.
nice, relaxing hangout.
Yeah,
Great
Brian
game
made me
to
a
boot.
lovely little drink on the porch there. It was nice. I don't remember
Mm.
much after it. It was that good.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Might have been somebody slipped in there, I hear.
Nick woke up the next morning and just went home, slunk home, embarrassed. It was a great evening.
The old
Well,
walk
no,
of shame down the boulevard.
that's your problem, right? You thought he was embarrassed.
That's right. Yeah.
Man, not at all. That was a
Yeah,
proud.
he did walk out leaving.
strut.
Hey, look at everybody! I'm leaving. Look where I'm leaving from.
He walked down the street like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever.
Mhm.
Chest all exposed, just hair floating in the wind.
Yep. Fucking paint cans, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it was fun. And then we'll talk about other reviews. Allie and I saw the new Spider-Verse movie on Tuesday
okay.
over in Barwich, and we'll talk about that on Idiot Reviews as well. So yeah, good week. Great weather around here lately. Nice to get outside, enjoy it. So that's it. Nick, how are you, sir?
I'm well. You pretty much talked about my weekend in there as well. We Friday night we had a bonfire, had the neighbors over and stuff, and that was a good time. We just kind of laid low, just ran some errands, stuff like that. And then Sunday, nice little front porch hangout at Brian's, watching the finals and stuff, and
Cuddling.
that was about it. Is it cuddling? Of course, there was cuddling.
Nice.
Of course,
Well, yeah.
wouldn't have been a complete
You
weekend
don't
without
really.
it.
You're actually you can't hang out with Brian without there being cuddling.
Right.
Absolutely, that is one of the prerequisites. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was a nice, chill, relaxing weekend. So.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, we talked about some things we watched already a little bit when we get into some idiot reviews. Dean, you mentioned big screen viewing of Raiders. How was that?
Yes, just like the Big Lebowski, the Fathom events where they have each month they show a different old movie on the screen. I've seen Big Lebowski, It's a Wonderful Life, and now that it was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Poltergeist, that's right. I went to see Poltergeist. But Raiders of the Lost Ark, it was myself, Carter, Nora, and Megan. And
Nice.
Nora is a huge Indiana Jones fan. Yeah. So
was prior to this, or is now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Very
She
good.
was prior to this. So
Okay.
she was the driving force behind going to see this. Carter actually had never seen any Indiana Jones movies. He'd seen like I had played them, and like he, in younger years, and he'd just kind of walk out of the room. He didn't care that much, but now he's at the age where he'll sit and like pay attention. And well, when you're in the theater, you have to. So
Yep.
that helps. But yeah, it was fun to see him seeing it for the first time. It was fun to see her enjoying it on the big screen. And as myself, I mean, it was the one in Canton, so it had the reclining seats and
Oh yeah, Tinseltown, yeah.
yeah. So
Nice.
no, it was very cool, very good. If you're a nerd listening to this nerd podcast and you've never seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is what it is. It's a classic and it's one of the best. you know, movies of that genre. So, and it was a good time. The other thing I did see, guys. I think I know Brian, you talked about it. Nick, not sure if you had seen it or not. The Diplomat
Mm-mm.
on
Yes.
Netflix.
Yes, very
I
good.
think Brian talked about it.
We started it last night. We're about halfway through the season.
Mhm.
It was a little slow for me in the beginning. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was a little confused, and if we were supposed to like Kerry Russell's character,
Mhm.
I was very unlikable at first. But it's a very slow burn for her character to like become halfway okay. The story didn't grab me at first. I was a little confused, but as it kept going, I'm interested now. So yeah, I'll finish it up. Again, I'll wait to give my like full throated review until I'm done with it. So maybe next week. But as of this week, it's cool. It's not bad. It's very different story. Like it's kind of a new twist on it. At first, it seems like a Hallmark movie, a little bit. But
Like, as in, it's like it's cheesy, or like, what do you mean?
a little cheesy, and just like the premise seems like the beginning of a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Okay.
I don't know why. I got that vibe, like fish out of water.
A lot of fake snow. Everyone's like not dressed warm enough for how cold it's supposed to be outside. That kind of stuff.
Oddly enough, people were dressed warmly, and it was sunny out, which was very confusing.
A lot of rustic but classy barn scenes and things like that. Yeah.
And you have the old sage that gives the warm advice, to steer the antagonist towards something. So, but yeah, the Diplomat, I'm digging it. It's not the best, but it's all right. Who's next? Nick, what do you see?
Not too much new. Just been kind of chipping away at some of the shows like FUBAR and Working Moms and stuff like that. Just some of the shows that we've been watching. Watched a lot
FUBAR still
of.
good?
Yeah, I mean, like I
haven't
said,
started it yet.
yeah, it's fine. I mean, I don't know that I like we mentioned before. If you take Arnold out of the equation, I don't know that I'm as big of a fan.
Okay.
You place him with, like, I don't know, Sylvester Stallone, and me personally, like, I'm probably not carrying on by myself, but
Sure.
it's not bad. It's fine. I'd say it's pretty middle of the road, but certainly if you're an Arnold fan, there's certainly some good lines in there for sure.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's been good. I've been pleasantly
worth a watch.
Yeah, at least
Okay.
give it. I mean, I think it gets, like, give it 2 episodes, and if you're not digging it after 2, then maybe it's that's just not for you.
That's fair.
But there's definitely a lot of good characters that come along through that aren't there in the beginning and things like that. So it's pretty cool. So just a lot of playoff hockey and basketball going on. Got the hockey game on right now, like we mentioned. Watched some basketball at Brian's the other night, and I did tonight. I watched the first part of the Arnold Netflix documentary. So
okay.
it's a 3 each episode's like a little over an hour long, but it's 3 segments, 3 episodes. So I watched the first episode tonight, which covers his basically, the part of his life up to and through bodybuilding. And then I assume it's probably bodybuilding, movie star, politician, I would imagine.
Sure. That makes sense.
If I had to guess, it's a 3-parter. But very good. Anyone who would be listening that has read Arnold's autobiography, Total Recall, there's not really a lot of new information so far. It's just
wait.
Yeah.
Is his autobiography?
It's called Total Recall. Yes, Total Recall. Yes, it is.
Of course.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Yeah, but it's got. I mean, like the upbringing, the early chapters that outline his upbringing and how he got into bodybuilding and stuff like that. It's just a video companion to, it pretty much outlines the same type of things. But it is really cool. There's a lot. I can't believe how much. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, it was like, the 60s and stuff like that but I mean, like, late 60s. So there's a lot of footage and there's a lot of cool pictures and videos and interviews with him from way back then. That's really cool to see. But yeah, that's been really good so far. So love documentaries, and any documentary about something that I'm already interested in is already a home run for me. So that's been pretty good.
Ooh, I should do a documentary about myself and have you watch it.
Yeah.
You'll like that.
Yeah. It's you jerking off to animals and we're losing your virginity to Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme music.
No, you can take the theme. You can take the theme music off of that.
Yeah.
Him and I were very close.
But no, that's it. That's it for me. That's all I've really seen lately.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of new stuff either, guys.
Sorry,
yeah,
I didn't throw to you. What about you,
Yeah,
Brian?
that's
Sorry,
okay.
we didn't
I guess
ask
I'll just
you,
answer
first
since
of all.
nobody gave a
That's
shit
all
to
right.
ask. So,
Well, we rewatched Raiders Saturday night as well in the backyard. Alley and I, so we weren't able to make the movie on Sunday because of the birthday party. So, yeah, man, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies growing up. Yeah, it's always great to see it on a larger screen somehow, some way. So thoroughly entertaining. I rewatched the Crystal Skull Raiders. I haven't seen that in a while. I even own it. These are all on Disney Plus now, by the way.
That's
All
the
the
third
Raiders
one, right?
movies. That's the third one. The fourth
Now
one.
this
I
is
have
the
seen.
fourth one. The fourth
one.
Third one was with his dad, Last
With Sean
Crusade.
Connery. That's
Okay.
That's very good. That's a great one. That's next to
Crystal
me. That's
Skull.
my favorite. That's the 2008 or something like that. They have like the
With
alien
Shia LaBeouf.
skull.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the one I've seen all the way through.
Okay.
That is the
Jesus,
one I've
out
seen.
of all of them picked, that's the one you've
well,
seen.
I went and saw it in the theater when it came out, and that was
No
the one
wonder
I've
you
seen
don't want to watch
all the way through.
any more of them. Fuck.
You know, it's more entertaining after leaving it alone for a while and rewatching it. I think because
I
at
didn't
the
think it was
time,
bad.
I
Yeah.
think my expectations were probably
Okay, maybe
too
I should go
high
back and
for
watch
it.
it.
Yeah. Again, it's on Disney Plus. There's nothing to stop. It's just check it out before watching the new one.
That's the one. Am I correct? That's the one that starts with him surviving a nuclear holocaust in a refrigerator, right?
Right, exactly. It's all ridiculous anyway.
Well, you know
I'm
what that
saying,
callback was too, right?
No.
The original script, I guess, for Back to the Future, it wasn't a DeLorean. It was I think it was supposed to be a refrigerator, and in like a nuclear blast, like that's what transported. That was the time machine. If I'm not mistaken, I could pretty
you
sure
might
that
be
was
right. It was like a
and it was
hydrogen
kind of a
bomb
call-out.
test or something like that.
Yeah.
He got in the fridge it was a lead line fridge to save himself. Yeah, but
Right.
okay, you have to check that out.
I do remember
theory.
when I saw it, people that I had seen it with were not like super thrilled with that. They were
Right.
not happy with it, and I was like, it's an all right movie. I thought.
Yeah, there's some good scenes in it. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine.
But in theory, at the end of, again, this is odd to have to say, but we're a nerd podcast. Spoiler alert for fucking Indiana Jones movies.
Mm.
But the end of Last Crusade, didn't he drink out of the chalice that made him immortal?
Yeah,
Like-
I rewatched that recently. Also,
So
actually,
did I.
he did, but it was something to where it was only within the confines of that area, right?
So if he stayed it in that cavern, he would have been immortal.
That's how I understand.
Huh.
Like the knight that
Okay.
was guarding the chalice was there for 700 years or whatever it was, and aging very slowly. So that's how I took that. Yeah.
Okay.
So no, but it's a good point. And then the Tuesday again, Allie and I watched the new Spider-Verse movie. No spoilers here, but good movie. I mean, if you're a Spider-Man fan, those are things Sony has been doing well. I mean, in my opinion, of all the properties they've been doing, that's interesting, and the animation is fabulous.
Yeah,
the voice actors are great. You had some, as Nick already talked about, he raved about the movie. Just tons. If you're a Spider-Man fan, there's tons and tons of references throughout the years. I have to go back and
I was gonna say I want to see it
rewatch
again just to try to catch other things that I just missed the first time around.
Yeah, just a ton. I mean, I recognize some stuff in the comics just years ago, like again, it's just a quick thing on the side or whatever. But there was a scene where Spider-Man went to visit the Fantastic Four. Something happened to his suit. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had no suit, so
The bag had one.
Yeah, They
Yeah.
gave him a paper bag with eyes cut out of it and a Fantastic Four jumpsuit. That guy was even in one of the scenes. I'm like, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
just the little references, the Spider-Man 66 animation guy. It's just a lot of fun stuff in this. So,
Yeah.
like I said, if you like the storyline, you'll definitely like this movie. Miles Morales, great character. Spider-Gwen, just great. So, definitely recommended for sure.
Yep.
That's about it.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's
That
it.
is it. All right.
Well, shit.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back with some pop culture headlines and Dean's Rowdy Piper shirt, a hot rod shirt, is a prelude to our main topic this evening, and we'll talk more about that.
I'm here to chew gum and
suck butts, and we're all out of bubble gum, right? Is that what
Something
he
like
said?
that.
I am
Something
here
like that.
to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I am all out of bubble gum.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. That was close.
That's right.
Kick butts, suck butts, whatever.
We should talk later.
And we'll talk more after the break.
Three.
All right, welcome back to Convincing Idiots. Gentlemen, an icon has passed. An icon in the professional wrestling world. Age 81, the Iron Sheik has passed on. So his actual name was Hassan Khosrow Ali Vaziri.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's right or not. I'm just going to play it safe and say you're probably butchering it, but I think you did a
Probably.
nice job pronouncing it. But it's
for the most part,
probably
people
right.
knew him as Khosrow.
Okay.
Khosrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hussein Khosrow, but a lot of people just called him Khosrow.
Okay. He was born in Iran, where he first began his wrestling career, and he grew into prominence in the U.S. in the 80s as one of the greatest villains in sports entertainment history. Best recognized for his. Go ahead, please.
Real quick, in Iran, he was the personal bodyguard for the Ayatollah Khomeini, and when I think the Ayatollah was assassinated or something like that, but like he feared for his life, and that's when he hightailed it to America to get away from being killed himself.
Wow.
Poor man battled substance abuse over time, but he got himself clean. He was inducted to the Wrestling Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005, and the NWA Hall of Fame in 2008. He was married. He had two children, 2 daughters, and 5 grandchildren he survived by.
One of the bigger stories was towards at the end of his first run with the WWF at the time. He was pulled over by the police in I think Georgia, and they had found cocaine and marijuana on said person. But the bigger scandal, because you got to think this was the 80s, he was riding with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And at the time, they were, Hacksaw was USA, USA, and the Iron Sheik was, the notorious Iranian bad guy. So like for those two, it wasn't even like they didn't get fired, honestly, for the drugs that was found. They got fired for getting caught breaking kayfabe. In kayfabe is the storytelling part.
Yeah, the characters. Yeah.
Yeah. And back then you didn't, the business was not going to stand for people knowing that it was fake or staged or, predetermined, however you want to put it. So when they got caught with these two big, giant feuding, guys in the same car getting fucked up, driving down the road, that's what got him in trouble. He ultimately did end up coming back later in different incarnations himself, but then in different characters here and there. But the dude's strength was insane. He would have these, they were almost like bowling pins, but they were like heavy weighted bowling pins. And he would do this like flip around his head. And like the power that this guy had was just ridiculous. Even at like in his 50s, he was doing that shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember them all battling Hulk Hogan and stuff in the 80s. That was always like a huge thing, right? Didn't he fight Hulk Hogan?
What part did I cut out at?
You're talking about the pins.
Yeah, you're breaking. What? Yeah.
Yeah, because
finish your thought.
Paused and came back, and you were in the middle. No, I'm saying it's just my action cut out. They just was
okay.
fucking.
Okay.
But all I was saying was all of these bigger guys like Hulk and stuff like couldn't do what he was doing. Like they couldn't whip them around their head, and it was a Iranian strength exercise that he was doing with these. I mean, the guy was powerful, and from what they say is one of the nicest guys you'll meet, or you know what I mean. But yeah, it's very sad. We lost a giant in the wrestling world.
For a while there too, he would make appearances on the Howard Stern show. It was pretty funny as well. They used to have him on, and he would do the character and stuff like that. That was pretty good. He was
quite the personality on Twitter as well. After, I mean, always just constantly shit talking and just saying weird shit.
Fuck you in the ass and make you humble.
Yeah, make you humble, calling everybody a jabroni and Bubba.
Yeah, jabroni, Bubba. that jabroni Hulk Hogan. I get down and I break his leg and I fuck him in the ass and make him humble. You got a problem, jabroni? I fuck you in the ass and make you humble.
Yes. Very good. Yeah, it was definitely a character of its time. I don't know that we would see a modern Iron Sheik.
Yeah,
they tried one. They tried one time after that. I mean, they tried multiple days, but it was probably in the mid 2000s, right? And they had this guy Hussein something or another, but he actually wasn't even Iranian. He was actually an Italian guy from Detroit. But they were portraying him as Middle Eastern, and the problem was they did this bit where Undertaker tombstoned him and knocked him out and he's dead, and all of these black hooded figures, not like Undertaker druid figures, like black hooded terrorist like figures, like picked him up and carried him out like a martyr type thing.
Jesus.
And as that was airing, it was pre-taped, and as it was airing, there was terrorist bombings in England happened that day. So they caught a lot of flack for that, and oddly enough, nobody ever talked about it again. It just disappeared.
Yep.
But like you said, you couldn't do Iron Sheik. And I know we can save this for the main thing. We should. I will save this. Yeah. Let's just say, as in this memoriam, he was bigger than life. You can't have a great good guy like Hulk Hogan if he doesn't defeat the bad guy.
Right.
That is
Batman needs the Joker. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Very good. Well, that'll be our main topic this evening. Is in honor of the Iron Sheik.
What kind of racist bad guys would we make?
That's right. We're going to talk about our favorite wrestling villains of all time.
Brian. Wrestling heels.
Okay. We talked about favorite wrestlers on prior episodes, but we didn't focus on villains necessarily.
Right.
So eels, excuse me. So we're going to focus on that this evening in our main segment. Okay, we talked a lot about AI. I mean, AI just again continues to have a lot of generate a lot of news.
It generates everything, Brian, not just news.
does.
It generates full storylines and songs, and images,
Scripts.
everything.
That's right. Scripts, exactly. As a matter of fact, it's generated. So you mentioned like breaking character with Hulk Hogan and not Hulk Hogan, but Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The three of us carefully, with some help from AI, write scripts to where we don't actually get along. The three of us. It's just it's very carefully scripted. Photographs every so often. Yeah.
Write a brilliant episode of Convincing Idiots, and within seconds, it's writes it all out.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing got stumped. Did you guys hear about the other day that they did stump that AI thing that was trying to write shit? They go, try to save us money with insurance. And all it said was, I'm not Aaron Blake. Because Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, tell them the idiot sent you and not AI.
Very good. Yeah, so there's a new season of Black Mirror coming out on Netflix soon.
Very excited.
5 episodes of this new season. I think I caught up on this show, by the way.
So good.
But the creator,
it's the Twilight Zone, but it's like modern.
It's like a
Okay.
Yeah. But the creator tried to write an episode using artificial intelligence, and the episode itself, I think, was around AI technology, if I'm reading this correctly. But it didn't work. It just wasn't
AI enough.
Yeah, it wasn't quite good enough here. So, but they did.
That's the problem with this podcast.
I just thought that was interesting. I mean, obviously, the Hollywood writers went on strike. We talked about this in part because they wanted some protections against AI and not have AI learn and basically take their jobs.
Take their jobs.
Yeah.
Take their jobs.
This guy was pretty open. He tried to use AI to give him, help him write a script, and like I said, just didn't happen to work. So it sounds like there's probably a lot more development to go in the technology before it could really firmly take away human jobs. But they're toying around with it and experimenting. Any thoughts on any of this, Dean?
It's a dangerous path, I tell you. A dangerous path.
Denis warns is the danger.
I've warned you for many years. No, like I've said in the past, it's not where it can be. Will it get there? Probably, but I think everything it's written, I don't, at least in my opinion, you don't have that human touch, that heart, the emotion behind it. A machine can understand what emotion is, but it can't. I don't know. There's a certain just a heart that you can't replicate.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's the heart behind the emotion. It's like serial killers, psychopaths. They can fake emotions because they understand what they should be saying or doing at this moment in time, regardless if they feel it or not. They know they've learned to fake it and learn it. And AI can do that. But just like if you talk to a psychopath and they can give you all of the, pretend emotion that you want, but there's something behind those eyes that just isn't there. You know what I mean? In the heart, in the soul.
It's not authentic.
Correct. And I think that's what you run into. Like the guy for the show there, I think that's probably what it's lacking. Like, yeah, you can have all the great words and everything, but it's just missing that something, and that's probably what it was.
Yeah, he said that the first thing I did was type generate Black Mirror episode, and it comes up with something that at first glance reads plausibly, but on a second glance is shit, he said.
Yeah, that
Nick, what do you
article.
think? Go ahead.
Well, he goes on to say in that article that basically what it gave him after that was kind of it took a bunch of plot lines from past Black Mirror episodes
Sure.
and then just kind of mishmashed things together.
I can't
So
think.
it's not that's the thing with AI. Like it can give you. There's only a certain line it can go to give you an actual original thought.
It has
because
to have reference.
Now, granted, it's gathering the entire scope of the internet, so there's a lot to pull from. But a completely, authentically original thought that's not going to find out that like it can't give you that. It's not thinking on its own. It
Right.
just is the ultimate database of information and all-knowing in what's already there. But it can't produce something completely original.
Right.
I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's
When
a good
that
because I
is-
mean.
when that happens, that's when we're in trouble.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Right.
Because then it's like it's a free thinking
Sentient.
thing. It's its own, yeah,
Right.
right. But I mean, before reading that article, actually, I was kind of thinking, I kind of had trouble kind of imagining where that line was. But when the creator of Black Mirror pointed that kind of, gave that example, I was like, okay, that makes sense. That yes, it does. It has more information than any regular human is capable of having. However, it can't give you something completely original. So yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting way to look at it.
Absolutely. Until it learns. I guess, like you say, that's where it gets a lot more dangerous. It learns how to, answer your questions without necessarily referencing it. But I don't know. We'll see. Anything else, Dean? Sorry, you were saying something.
No, I was just thinking that Nick has that same problem. Is like, there's just he can rattle off words and stuff, but like the humor's just not there. People
there's
just know
nothing
there's
human
always
in
just
here.
something missing. No,
Yeah.
definitely not anything human. No.
Okay. There's a trend on TikTok. Why are people always debating proper plane etiquette on TikTok? So there's a subgenre on TikTok, flight talk. So it is a bunch of videos with people that are
high.
they're shooting like etiquette and bad passengers on airlines and stuff like that. So it's really kind of become a pretty popular thing on TikTok. Some of it appears to be like helpful travel tips and things like that. Other things are people that are just really, shooting people that are being idiots on airplanes and whatnot and complaining and all that type of stuff. So, it's just a way it seems like to a lot of people are venting experiences and this and that. So
Maybe they're pointing this stuff out in the hopes that you, a bad passenger, will see it and go, I didn't know that was, ridiculous, and I'm going to stop that. I'm not going to act like that. That's
I
me.
think that's
on
part
a
of it.
flight.
That's the hope, right?
It is a passive aggressive way to call somebody out. It's like,
Correct.
if this is you, don't do this. You're being an asshole.
right. Yeah. I don't know.
When I
just
get
thought
on
it
a
was-
plane,
go ahead, please.
I go and piss on the flight attendant's shoes in hopes that other people see me and go, "Oh, that's what you're not supposed to do." I'm
Right.
helping and teaching. That's what
Meanwhile,
I'm
Dean
doing.
goes, I'm asserting my dominance. Now everyone on the flight will look at me and know that I am the strong one on the flight.
That's my leg. You see that? That's my leg now. Yeah.
This is my plane.
I am
I get the
vying to
mask
be on
first if
flight
this fucker
TikTok.
goes down. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. National Eating Disorder Association, another headline here, pulls chatbot, more AI stuff here, guys, after users say it gave harmful dieting tips. So there's
Please tell me it has those dieting tips.
Yeah, I want to know what they are.
Yeah.
it's a NEDA. It's the NEDA chatbot named Tessa. It's NEDA is the National Eating Disorders Association. It's a nonprofit supporting individuals affected by eating disorders. So it disabled its wellness chatbot after 2 users reported the program gave them dieting advice that promoted disordered eating behavior. So Tessa gave them advice on how to count calories that recommended they lose 1 to 2 pounds per week and told them to restrict their diets. And they say that behavior is symptomatic of an eating disorder.
Hold on, go back over that.
Yeah, so
Count the calories,
count the calories.
which is
They
part of
recommend you
dieting.
lose 1 to 2 pounds per week
That's
and
common. Go
restrict
ahead.
their diet. But you're talking about an eating disorder association. So telling people not to eat
So the
may
person
not be
already
the best advice.
So the person already had an eating disorder, and then this
Correct.
told them, kind of, pretty much told them, keep doing what you're doing, champ.
That's what some people are taking that as. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know if I see it that way, but I get how, I don't have an eating disorder other than too much. Other than that, I don't really have room to talk, but like just hearing that, like when I think, to me, to lose weight, you burn more calories than you eat. To me, that, you know what I mean? Intake, outtake type deal. So, and to me, that's what the thing is telling them, right? In theory.
Yeah, but they say, like I said, I understand the logic to give an answer like that using
right. I don't think it was being
artificial
harmful.
intelligence. No,
it's just that's the logic that it learns.
Yes. Right.
Exercise more, eat less.
The problem is you, a human being, are asking a form of technology that's not a person or someone that has the ability to give you, like we were just talking about with AI. It's pulling from. To say that it's giving you accurate info and things like with your health, with dieting, with exercising, and different people, different bodies, with your lifestyle, what conditions you have. There's not a thing that somebody can tell you and rattle off and be like, oh, that's the key. Now I know to do this. And there's so many factors that go in to your routine that it's not that simple. So you would need to apply. I mean, it's a kind of a mishmash of things that you hear as far as, what fits into your lifestyle, what kind of things that you can do safely and healthily. And I mean, you can't just take something broad and apply it to your life when it comes to that. You know what I mean? That's just not logical.
They like to be called females, Nick.
But the other interesting thing about this too is they said that it was never meant to replace their helpline, so they had a helpline with people, but yet they shut down the helpline. So now they put themselves in a position where they thought they could use this technology to replace people, and now they found, whoops, can't do that, and now everything is shut down at the moment. You cannot access the chatbot, and there's no help. So now these poor people that are out there trying to access this assistance for help and guidance, now they have nowhere to turn, at least to this place. So now they have to look elsewhere for support and assistance. So not shocking. I think, honestly, we're probably going to see more of this type of stuff, frankly, where businesses, they were trying to amp up these chat bots. I mean, so many customer service lines use this damn thing anymore. They push you to a chat to try to push self-service, whatever the hell you're doing, banking, you name it. It's all self-service chat bots, this, that, and the other. And they probably behind the scenes reduce workforce, and they want to or outsource more and more, and then the quality of help you get will continue to decline when you're trying to speak with an actual person.
Stuff like that.
When
you have the idea of somebody coming to this for a not just mental but an emotional situation, like losing weight or because you have an eating disorder, something so sensitive as that.
Mm-hmm.
And amongst other things, you're going to find out that this is where the human condition lies. That this is what makes us human, is the empathy to help each other in, things like that robots just don't have or can't have. Mm-hmm. It's just not in their capabilities. Because like Nick said, it's just pulling from everything else and giving them info. When I, as a human, may have all that info, but I can also back it up with empathy and sincerity and complex thought. As in,
You
because,
can?
no, fuck, not me.
Because you
Jesus. My suggestion
normal
is,
humans, Nick.
my dieting suggestion is smoke weed, eat peanut butter and chocolate chips, and masturbate. That's my dieting.
Mhm.
And
As
all
long
of
as
it
you're
goes-
burning off more calories than you're taking in, you're good to go.
It's just how vigorous do I want to one over the other.
Yep.
But ultimately, it all goes in my mouth. So,
Hmm.
but the end result is the computers can't do what a human can do, and like you said, Brian, the corporations are learning it the hard way.
Mm-hmm. No, great points. Yeah, you have our
I'm pretty
commitment out
smart.
there. No, that was good. That was good comments. Our commitment to our fans is that the Convincing Idiots helpline will never be a chat GPT. We will have humans answering
that.
That's
If
right.
you don't want us helping you.
It'll always be just Nick and I smoking weed and telling everybody what we think.
That's right. That's right.
More peanut butter.
Yeah. We have a show suggestion. Have you tried eating peanut butter and masturbating? No.
You'd
but-
be amazed at how much better you'll feel.
First of all, Brian, you have to add chocolate chips into the equation.
Yes.
That's the key. That's the key.
That's okay.
Unless you have a
Another
dog.
level.
They can't have chocolate.
Oh boy.
Dangerous.
Okay. More TikTok stuff. Some small businesses are going viral on TikTok for the wrong reason. So there's Cake Gate and Tattoo Gate. So basically, these are small
cake
businesses.
eaters?
No, so
No, okay.
all right. So this is from NBCNews.com. A baker and a tattoo artist recently garnered TikTok virality other small businesses owners can only dream of. The only problem is the exposure was not positive. So Kylie Allen, owner of the West Virginia-based bakery Kylie's Cakes, posted a video last month about a dispute with a dissatisfied customer over an $84 rainbow sprinkle cake, which spiraled into controversy users deemed Cakegate. Weeks later, a TikTok user by the name of Courtney Monteith's video about a Canada-based tattoo artist charging high design fees turned into Tattoogate. Videos about these incidents have racked up millions of views on TikTok, with most people showing support for the customer. So in some respects, one example, the business owner put a complaint out there, and the other one was a customer. So basically, TikTok is becoming a vehicle, it seems, for people to share bad business experience or to weigh in.
So it's
On a
becoming
bad
a video
experience.
Yelp.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess you
Okay.
could say that in many respects, right? So
Okay.
It's the same thing you do with other social media platforms. You can go on
Right.
Facebook or you can go on Snapchat and snap a picture like, don't go to this place. It fucking
I
sucks.
go onto
Or you
every
can,
social media account that I have to complain about this podcast, actually.
just go on as a burner account and sewer convincing idiots on every known social media account.
No burner. I use my own account.
Dean Harvey
Trying to get this shit-
dislikes this shit.
I'm trying to get this shit canceled, motherfucker.
Every YouTube comment, thumbs down. Bullshit. They never let the funny, handsome guy talk enough, and he's not allowed to say the words he wants to. Dumb. Stupid.
First of all, Brian says all the words he wants, so
that's right. That's right. No, it's just, I guess it's a lesson for people out there. Yeah, the article goes on to talk about. So first of all, if you're gonna post stuff out there on behalf of your business, pay attention to what you're saying and doing.
Sure.
Don't put yourself out there in a negative light like that. And other people are saying in this that, if you're getting complaints from a customer, you got to deal with it, because people have a lot more opportunities, as you guys said, to put things out
Bigger
there
platform.
very easily in social media, and really can do a lot of damage to your business. So address customer complaints appropriately. Absolutely. So
I was just reading an article the other day. It was like the top 30 most food violations in Summit County. There's a lot of local places that were
Yeah.
above 15. I was like,
I make sure I don't
good
read
to know.
that shit.
Good to know. It's good to know. I don't know. I
No.
want to know.
No, it's kind of like, all right, so Megan was cutting up some lettuce, right? And she chopped it in half, opened it up, and there's a moth in there.
In the lettuce?
In the lettuce. And
damn.
she ends up throwing it out because, like, she's all grossed out. But I said, wait, if you would have you could have not eaten it, chopped the rest up, and served it to me, I would not have known any different.
Right.
We as a society, we've all realized there's a certain or an acceptable amount of bugs that we eat within our food, as long as we don't know about it.
100% of the ones that we don't know about, we're cool with eating. It's fine.
Exactly. So,
Right.
But yeah, once you tell me the moth's in there, it's gone. Same
Right.
thing as those reviews. I don't search out, or I don't want to know the violations going on, because I still want to go out to places. If you knew all these violations that was happening, you wouldn't go. You couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
So yeah, I tried it. Ignorance is bliss on this one.
I will say a lot of the ones, though, in fairness, that popped up there, I was like, you figure it wasn't like that place, really? Like, and there's also some that I had kind of earmarked that I'm like, oh, I'd like to try that place someday. And now I'm like, okay, good to know. I'll still probably steer.
Was there any ones that you enjoyed? You're like, shit, I can't go back there.
There's a couple that I used to enjoy, but like I said, have gone downhill since, and I don't really frequent that much anymore. And they were on there, and I'm like, makes sense. So it wasn't not nowhere that I frequent that I like to go often. That like there's a Chinese place in town. If it would have showed up on there, I can honestly tell you I wouldn't have given a shit. I'd still keep going there. If I love something that much, it doesn't matter. I don't care.
I'm with you. I don't care. I don't.
They weren't. I didn't even name who it was, but where we're located. The Chinese place. None of those were on there, but I could just say some of them I really love enough to where I probably wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't have strong enough feelings about all unhealthy shit. Although I did eat a burrito today that really fucked my stomach up, and and not the place that I was talking about, offline. Actually, it was at a Taco Bell out in the Cleveland area. It was like 2:00. I was super hungry, so I just swung in. I regretted that almost immediately.
Oh, so that meme I sent you today was very topical.
Yes,
the one about it was a meme that I sent you guys in a group chat. It was like who would win between a beefy 5-layer burrito and a child's immune system from the Victorian era.
I read that after I got back on the road and I finished it, and I started feeling the gurgles and the fucking belly gulps, and I'm like, yep, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Be dead. She'd be dead.
Yeah. It's not the first time I felt like a 13th century teenage girl, but very close.
Yep. Yeah, normally we just dress like one on occasion, but
that's right.
Yeah.
Only because you pay me a lot of money to do it.
All right, what in the hell are we talking about?
Pantaloons.
Yeah.
Electric
recently,
bikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not the Segway RPM bike shop would like. We're going to wait on that one.
Yeah. A lot of things could make us feel older. I mean, just, this made me feel older this week. The finale of Cheers aired 30 years ago recently, back in 1993. And you can find this out there on today.com. There was a little mini reunion.
That's wild.
Ted Danson, Cliff, and Norm, those actors were there. And somebody else. Maybe just the three of them. Might have just been the three of them. No, it was one of the producers or writers or something like that was there, something like that. But, man.
Do you remember watching it?
Yes.
I remember where I was. I could picture it, the feeling of I stayed up late that night because they remember after they did the Jay Leno special in Boston at that the Cheers bar from Boston I was just at a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And I remember watching the episode And that takes me fucking way back. Like, that's crazy. 30 years
How
ago.
many years ago? 30?
30
Yeah.
years ago, 93. And it's like it was one of the best finales ever. And it was definitely one of the highest rated finales of all time, for sure. 11-year run, the show. And it was up there. It didn't rate as high as MASH, but I think it was. It was 90 million viewers watched the finale back then. Of course, it was a different time. They didn't have the streaming and
not
blah
only
blah
that,
blah
I mean,
back
you
then.
could
But
say
still,
that,
that's pretty huge.
But also, you added by the time Cheers ended, comparative to when MASH ended, you had added cable.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Plenty
So,
of more options for sure. Yes.
So to have that many viewers is, if you put them at a 3-4 channel spot, fuck, it might have done more. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Is
very,
Cheers
very good.
on? It's got to be streaming on something, right? Who has the rights to Cheers? Is that like a Peacock thing?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Peacock. It's NBC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I've been watching it, because a few episodes back I said I started kind of doing a rewatch of it, and fuck, that still holds up. Even the first season, still holds up.
So good, just the camaraderie of the jokes. It was a very well written show, for sure. The dynamic with Sam, it's just very, very good. And again, the finale is very powerful, very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
30 years ago, but it just it's always a bummer when you see actors and actresses and people that you grew up watching that were, it's just time. Everybody gets older and everything else, and these gentlemen are just looking a little older, and it just is what it is. But it was nice to see the three of them together and reminiscing a little like that.
A little bullshit, don't you think?
What's that?
It's a little bullshit, don't you think? I mean, coming from the motherfucker who doesn't age. I mean, it just seems condescending coming from you, Brian. That you walk around,
that's right,
looking like you were 20 fucking years old.
That's right.
I'm
75 years of age.
To Sam alone, you condescending son of a bitch. That's what I'm saying. You sexy, condescending son of a bitch.
If I look like Ted Danson when I'm his age, that's pretty good.
He does look pretty good for his age.
He's a very handsome man, absolutely. Still, yeah. Anyway, so. Cheers finale, or not finale, anniversary of the finale just really kind of struck me this week.
Cheers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody's going to do it with me?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Jesus.
Very good.
Easy bit. And you just fucking drop the goddamn ball. And...
To the show.
Right. That's right. All right. All right, gentlemen, that's what I got for...
I have
culture.
I have a Cheers story,
something?
actually. I just recall. I have a Cheers story from this week, as a matter of fact.
What?
Yeah, I have a Cheers story. So the show, Cheers. So the theme song came on, and I started singing along to it. It was in the bed playing to, making your way in the world today. I started singing along to it, and it was on like some video that Oliver was watching on YouTube. He's like, "How do you know that song?" And I was like, it was a song that Molly Shannon sang in A Night at the Roxbury. And it was also featured in an episode of Friends. And and then Robin started laughing. I said, I know it's the Cheers song, but I've never seen a second of Cheers, like never, not once. So like, I don't know I know it's from Cheers, but I that's not what I know it from.
Again,
go back and pick it up.
That's my Cheers story.
Like Dean said, go back and pick it up. It's still a good show.
It holds up, Nick. I think you would, if you didn't enjoy it you're not going to enjoy it like you do Friends or any of those other shows. But I know that if you watched like the first 3 episodes, you would watch and go, okay, I get it. Yeah. I guarantee you would appreciate it.
I think I know what it's about. But
no,
actually, that's not true, because I like I said, I've not literally never seen like a single minute of the show ever.
Again,
like I don't
even
know
if
anything about it.
You could read the premise, Nick, and still I'm saying the premise is one thing. I'm talking about the jokes themselves. You know how like some shows,
yeah, sure, yeah, some things don't age as well.
That doesn't work, or you're like, oh, that's cool.
It doesn't make sense, or what? Yeah.
Right. This still does. Yes, you're going to have some 80s jokes, that are kind of obvious. But the core of humor in it, I think, give it 3 episodes, you'll at least appreciate it. I'm not asking you to binge the whole goddamn series or even the first season. Give me the first 3 episodes are solid enough. A, to get the premise of what it was going to be going forward, but B, the humor that it encapsulated it.
Yeah.
So give it 3 episodes. Someday, if you're you're sick, you're really tired of masturbating. I know that's a stretch, but
I'd have to be really sick, Dean. Like real sick. Probably not well enough to watch a TV show
No,
if I
that's
can't
true.
rub one out.
you're gonna be past that. Well, Ted, we already mentioned Ted Danson is a very handsome man, so you can probably continue while watching.
All right.
it. So.
Okay. Good incentive there.
It's just that, honestly, I remember as a kid thinking that I wanted to hang out there in a place like that, to where, as an adult, a place to go and hang out with my friends. It wasn't about the drinking per se. It was just, it's always seemed cool. People came in, they all had different walks of life, just like an actual bar,
1,000%.
obviously. Yeah, and they had the subplots of their lives and this and that, other, but they were just people from different walks of life hanging out together, taking a break from everything.
Every kid in the
chilling out.
80s wanted to own a bar when he got older.
That is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Great show. Okay, so making some news is the James Gunn, as we know, who's one of the leads now of the DC movie, but DCU. Okay, him and Peter Safran, not Peter Gunn. James Gunn and Peter Safran. We've talked about this prior, but they're just recasting virtually everybody. Mm-hmm. And now they're talking about, so the guy, I haven't seen Arrow in quite a while. I was a pretty avid fan for a number of years. I just kind of lost touch with it here, but it's a solid show. The Arrow show on the CW, the Green Arrow. So the guy that's been playing the Arrow, Stephen Amell, he's been doing that for several years now.
A long time.
Very solid. But now they're talking about maybe recasting the Arrow in the universe as well.
Kind of a mix of the 2 parts of the show. Stephen Amell has wrestled multiple different in professional wrestling. He's had multiple matches.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Okay. I thought this guy that was one of the better cast characters. I don't know, but so. A lot of mixed reactions when James Gunn is talking about recasting all the DC characters, making going younger, rebooting. It's also timely news as the Flash movie comes out, not this coming weekend, but next weekend. We're shooting this on Thursday, June the 8th.
By the time you hear this, it'll be this coming weekend.
That's correct. That's right.
Right.
I don't know. So just getting into the Ask an Idiot question this week here, guys. Just the whole. What are your thoughts on the whole?
I thought we agreed that the Ask an Idiot question was going to be who was the sexiest cast member of Mr. Belvedere.
No, that was the backup question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it obviously was Mr. Belvedere himself. Of course.
Maybe that's why we it was a.
Yeah, just it wasn't even worth the discussion.
That makes sense now.
Yeah. No, but just the recasting of the characters. What do you think? I mean, should they just do what James Gunn has said? Just reboot everything, go younger, reset the whole universe. Are there characters that are being recast, like Stephen Amell and maybe others, that you think should remain in some capacity? If so, who are those characters? Who do you want to see remain? So what do you think about all this? So, Dean, what are your thoughts on the recasting of DC? Who should they keep? Or, just things aren't working out, use the Flash movie to reset the whole thing and just move on?
The MCU did it. They don't recognize any of the earlier shows. They're starting to. Again, you could do it with the Flash and given of like the multiverse thing,
Sure.
but you
mean like Daredevil and stuff, or
correct?
Like
Daredevil is the first crossover, bringing over the old MCU shows, or they weren't MCU. I'm sorry, but they were the Marvel
properties.
shows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But for the longest time, they weren't recognizing any of those shows as canon.
Mhm.
And now when you take, now when you say you're able to do the multiverse and split different universes together, you can now explain why you weren't, recognizing this.
Mhm.
So maybe you do the same with the DCU, right? Maybe you can recast everybody and still not make those not canon.
Right.
Maybe it's a different timeline. Maybe it's a different universe. However you want to do it, but you don't. You can recast all you want.
Mhm.
It's superhero movies, younger, bigger, better, stronger. That's goddamn the name of the game. But I think you still should not ignore what you already have. Peacemaker, perfect example. I really hope that, with this, whatever serious superheroes they have, they can still take Peacemaker and go, he is canon. He is in here. Even if it's in this universe or this timeline, he's still canon. And I think that's a way they can go about it without insulting the creators and actors and everything everybody did for those shows to put those shows on the air and to put, life into those products. I think you can. There's a way to do that without insulting those people.
Mhm. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up really well there. But I mean, like, it's the nice thing about the multiverse or the Flashpoint and all that stuff is like you get that gives you the ability to use or not use a reset button whenever or however you deem necessary. If you want to recast, you can. Although I don't feel like, I mean, like you said, I'm not familiar with a lot of the DC universe or DC television show characters or the actors playing them. But I mean, yeah, if they're doing a good job, like I don't see. Certainly, the leap from television to film is not what it used to be. So many big stars do television, and
Right.
it's not this big divide like it used to be, where
It's
television was
almost a
kind of looked
better
at
way
like
to tell stories for
that's
some of them.
sure, yeah. I mean, really, in a lot of these TV shows, I mean, it's like basically the equivalent of putting out a couple movies. You know what I mean? So it's I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to reuse some of the characters, but yeah, I mean, if you're looking to rebrand, reface a character, then that's like Dean said, with all the the multiverse and all you have so many options of what you can make a part of your story and what you want to separate. So
Yeah.
Brian,
I'm
what
with
say
you guys. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you could certainly have the whole new storyline, but like you say, there's nothing stopping, especially with the Flashpoint, their version of the multiverse. You can continue some of these storylines. I mean, they're going to have. They've already announced. Obviously the Robert Pattinson Batman is different.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own storyline. It's like that Elseworlds type storyline where it's Batman, but it's not necessarily the same Batman in our world. That's okay.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's an interesting storyline.
I would
You
be
could do
okay
the
with
same
them
thing.
doing multiple Batman movies of different,
Absolutely.
and then just explaining it in like your main MCU one that you want to use.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's multiple
And I like that.
universes with multiple Batmans. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Why not another Michael Keaton Batman
Right.
movie? Why not a
my
standalone
God.
Batman movie? Why not?
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
I think the clamoring, just seeing him, in the trailers, he's said three things: "Let's get nuts," "I'm
Yep.
Batman," and "Are you ready? Let's go." Those three things that you've heard, to me, I think you're going to watch Flashpoint and go, everybody is going to, holy shit, we need another Michael Keaton Batman. There's
It could
no
happen.
way they're going to get away with not letting that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least have
Absolutely.
him in more things. Absolutely. Like he'll
Sure.
continue
Okay.
to pop up in things, I think. Yeah. But I mean,
I'd be okay with
Go
that.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, I like that that was perfect example. I mean, with the new Flash movie, you're gonna get Ben Affleck, you're gonna get Michael Keaton, but I like that Robert Pattinson Batman is not this. I like what that is. I like that that's dark and it's dingy and it's different, and I want that to be Batman. I don't
Right.
want that in Justice
Flash.
League shit. I don't need
Right.
that.
Agreed.
I want that. I want that Batman by itself.
Okay.
Its own thing.
Nick, in that same vein, Do you want other characters like that? Or I would love to see multiple takes on Superman. Same deal. Because like, you have like the Boy Scout, you have the brooding, you have the troubled, like there's so many different like everybody says, Batman, this Batman, that Batman. I think that you could take, because, all right, I'm getting ahead of myself. You have seen all of these Supermans through, since the 1950s with George Reeves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've all kind of, no, George Reeves was the Superman from the 1950s TV show. Christopher Reeves was from the movie.
Oh, okay. My bad.
That's right.
In the 70s, 80s. So you've essentially all of these people have been trying to embody Superman. The Boy Scout coming from Krypton to, America, that whole Superman. In the comics, there have been multiple Supermans. I want to see that. I want the core, DCU universe Superman to be the Superman that we know that we love, right? But I also want to see the Robert Pattinson type Superman. I want to see this, you know what I mean? Didn't they try at one point and they never really said that it was part of it, but like there was a certain Superman that was Steel. African American Superman.
Right.
Steel. I think they did a half-assed thing with Shaq. Didn't they? Movie years and years ago.
Oh yeah.
Was that supposed to be that?
It was loosely based, but that Steel was a Superman variant, if you will.
Makes sense as Shaq is a massive Superman fan, but
right.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
But I don't think it actually got technically endorsed by, DC Comics, so they couldn't quite say that was Superman. But yeah, I want to see something that like Flashpoint that breaks up. Like when in comics, when Superman was killed by Doomsday, that is what, when he was reborn, he was reborn into different Superman. I want to see that and just throw us different movies. Give me different Aquaman. Give me different, even in MCU. I mean, I know they're doing their own thing, but like they're comic book. Let's see different versions of all these characters. And just
give me
have
Aquaman
fun
with
it.
Decent graphics, like just great underwater scenes, just a decent watchable Aquaman. That'd be great.
I just want one with like cardboard cutouts in a fish tank. And like somebody.
I would watch that movie before I watch the other one again.
I am Aquaman. That's good. I'd watch it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, one of the rumors of the Flash movie is that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going to make an appearance in this, as there was a version in the comic books, great storyline. It's another Batman that came out of the Flashpoint, that it's Thomas Wayne. So in that universe, Bruce Wayne was killed in the alley, and Thomas became the Batman. So obviously he was already an older man. That would be, I'd love that. Why not?
Yeah, that'd be
Why
cool.
not have Thomas Wayne Batman?
It's not
in
this
that
weekend.
universe?
It's the next weekend, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Do we? Is this something we're all getting together? I know that I'm breaking fourth wall here, but is this something we all want to get together to see?
Dean, listeners aren't supposed to know that we know each other outside of this podcast.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like, I'm just.
Yes,
I'm
we'll get
speaking
together.
Personal shit.
Yes.
Right.
I'll be back home on Father's Day, and we'll plan. As long as it's not that on. Yeah, we'll plan. Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That Monday I'm off. By the way, Juneteenth I'm off. I don't know if you guys are off or not, but we'll plan something soon for that. Okay, that's fine. But yeah. Anyway, okay. So we like some of the actors. Who should stay? I mean, should they have? I mean, do you want to see the Ben Affleck bat? No, just reboot everything.
No, but the ones, I'm not saying get rid of them, but they can be in multiple things. That's my point.
Okay.
Don't lose anybody, but you don't have to continue with them as the main thing. You just multiple things, and you
make them
pepper them out throughout the
exist on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if we're going to see it, but I agree with you guys. It would be interesting, and also to bring in others that we're not thinking of, like I say, than Jeffrey D. Morgan and others. Why not? Why not? Have fun. Mix it up. Do something.
Why not?
Different.
It's fucking comic book movies. Let's enjoy it.
That's right.
Let's
Stop
get
taking
nuts.
don't be so fucking serious.
All right.
Why
Top
so serious? Right?
There you go.
Top of our heads. Nick, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
If you're going to cast Brian as one of those superheroes in the DCU, who is it?
In the DCU?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, on the spot like that.
I'm going. Go. No,
Go ahead.
you got one. Go ahead.
You go. Go. You.
Deadshot. Or
Deadshot?
is
Okay.
that his name?
From
Like the assassin?
the Suicide Squad?
No, he was at the end of the Superman movie. He was on the boat with the Lex Luthor. Bullseye, maybe.
Oh, he made the appearance at the end of the Zack Snyder Justice League in the apocalyptic world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that.
I was gonna say just because Brian does everything like for this podcast and just in the world, like he's just so on top of everything. He has every attribute you can imagine, and he's the perfect superhero. I'd say Martian Manhunter. Probably.
There you go. Yep. Defeat Superman.
He has all of the attributes. He's the perfect superhero.
Let's go to break.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No, actually, I can see him as a different version of Lex Luthor. Actually.
Yeah.
Evil genius, wanting to destroy the world, watch it burn.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll plot that every day.
Alfred, maybe.
Ooh.
You'd
Yep.
be the Alfred that kicks ass.
And you're in like the scrawniest Batman suit there is.
Oh, Alfred!
Oh, I got Alfred. You're not gonna believe what happened at work today. No, sit
This
down.
bus is getting quite dusty.
I'm not happy. Do you see my scowl? And
All right, that's right. That's
All right. That was fun.
Yeah. So yeah, what if you think we should be whatever heroes you imagine? I'd like to hear from you out there.
We'd like to hear in the comments who you'd like us to be recast as, or who you'd like to be replacing us. So
that's right. That's right.
I think Joey should replace all three of you.
Yeah, Joey, and Joey.
That's right. All right. Well, Dean mentioned Lex Luthor is a great villain, and we're going to talk about more villains, more heels, if you will, in the world of wrestling.
If you will, baby.
After the break, we're going to give you our idiot Mount Rushmores of our favorite bad guys of wrestling. So stick with us after the break.
Road to being a legend is a path of pain, of power and strength, of courage and determination, of desire and destiny. Legends of Wrestling 2. Rated T for Teen from Acclaim.
Count them in. Come on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready for segment number 3 of Convincing Idiots. This week, on our final segment, we are discussing some of our favorite heels in all of professional wrestling history. As we mentioned in segment number 2, we lost a true great in the Iron Sheik this week, so we thought to pay homage to him, we would discuss some of our favorite heels in the professional wrestling world. Now, many years, many different variations and eras of wrestling, a lot of great heels out there, and especially, as we all know, in professional wrestling, theatrics is certainly a premium. So no shortage of personalities here, gentlemen. So let's just get right into it then. Ding, ding, ding. Get squared off here in the squared circle. Dean, let's start with you, buddy. You're the big wrestling guy.
This is
Why don't you start us
the
off?
main event.
That is correct.
All right. I am going to start. You know what? I made a list, but I'm going to start one below. besides the obvious, let's go ahead and honor the Iron Sheik with being the first inductee to our Idiots Hall of Fame, right? Our Idiots Mount Rushmore. He is the first villain upon. What we've said earlier, he was the ultimate villain. There's a lot of villains that become so cool that people end up turning them face. The crowd ends up turning them face. They end up going, you know what? You know what? You're so fucking good. And they ended up becoming natural good guys.
Yeah. The majority of my list is comprised of guys like that. It started off as faces, but they were so cool and likable that it didn't matter how hard you tried to make them a heel. Everybody liked them, and you had to just put them over, and that became the favorite.
The Iron Sheik was so hated that he had no face time. He was never a good guy. I think maybe when he like very, very first started, before he, became the Iron Sheik, but the Iron Sheik himself could never be a good guy. He was what every heel wrestler wished for. He had the death threats. He had people trying to knife him in the crowd. Everybody that portrayed villains in professional wrestling would die to have the heat that this man had. The Iron Sheik spent his career as a bad guy, never turning back, never apologizing. That is why the Iron Sheik, rest in peace, is our first inductee onto our Mount Rushmore of heel wrestlers.
Nice. Dave was on my list anyway. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Okay.
Brian, speaking of, who's next on your list?
My number 5, I have the $1 Million Man. I'm not.
Ted DiBiase, nice choice.
Yes, I'm not much. I wasn't much of a huge wrestling fan. I used to watch it every so often. Predominantly in the '80s when I was a teenager and all that type of stuff. But that guy there was so good at being a bad guy. Just the whole, portraying a rich guy, rubbing mocking people. That guy was great. He gave you any character like that really you felt anger for when he would come into the ring. You knew they were doing a very good job at what they were trying to portray, and that guy was very, very good. So
he's another one that
Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Yeah,
he's another one that never had a face run. Everybody just continued to hate him with a passion.
Yeah. Too good of a bad guy.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he loved it. You could tell it was that's the thing about those guys as well. They love the fact that they have the crowd against them, and I think that just feeds their.
I would love it.
Yeah,
like if we were wrestlers, I would love to be the bad guy.
Sure.
I mean, to give him.
You get the biggest reaction. Sure, right.
Right.
Especially you.
Right. But like to have it's one thing for you can walk out and like, yay. But like to have just a stadium full of people just angry and yelling and hissing and booing and cursing at you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a similar reaction we had in a couple live appearances for the podcast.
Yeah, that turned out unfortunate. I got knifed twice. Nick, who do you have next on your list? Or your first on your list?
My first on my list. So this is not who I'm about to name is not my submission, but rather it's a way to tie it in. So you guys remember, or at least probably Dean remembers, Earthquake and Monsoon, right? The tag team. The big guys. Names. Typhoon. Yeah. Earthquake and Typhoon. That's correct. So way early on, I don't know if you remember, they had a manager back in the early WWF, but even before that, in their very early days of indie wrestling, they had a manager known as the Environmental Disaster. Okay, and he would come to the ring with this moped, just pushing out gas and all these horrible fumes. And the only way that this awful heel was brought to justice was a fucking electric bike from our friends at RPM Bike Shop. The only way to combat the environmental disaster in your neighborhood today is by getting your very own clean electric bike from our friends at RPM
They are a
Bike
baby
Shop.
face.
They are located in Carrollton, Ohio, not so far from us here. All you got to do is give them a call at 330-808-7792, or you can go into the search bar up on Facebook, just type in RPM Bike Shop, or go to their website, rpmbikeshop.com. There you can see pictures of their wonderful products, as well as, I'm sure, a fantastic video of an electric bike pile driving a moped of days past. So for all
God,
this
I wanna
content
see
and so much more, please give our friends at RPM Bike Shop a call today and let them know that you would like to ride your way into your brand new clean electric future on a spiffy new RPM Bike Shop. Electric bike from RPM Bike Shop today.
Very good. Excellent.
Didn't have an ending for that one, did you?
No, I didn't. I got nervous. I got nervous at the end. I didn't.
It worked out.
Okay,
You
so
did
this
good.
is
You did good.
here's a segue upon a segue here. So I didn't quite have the charisma to end that segment as as my first submission here did. This is a very easy one for me. This is one of the all-time great heels in professional wrestling. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, styling and profiling. He was richer than you. He was better looking than you. He just the whole thing rubbed it in your face, man.
My shoes cost more than your house.
Absolutely, yeah. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, was just so. Again, another example. People loved to hate him, and he was so charismatic and so amazing that you couldn't help but like him, even though you were supposed to hate him, and he was supposed to be rubbing all his wealth and all his wins in your face. Didn't matter. You couldn't help but love the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. So Ric Flair is probably a pretty easy submission.
The beautiful thing about Ric Flair is that he has had a resurgence in like pop culture.
Yeah.
There's like rap songs now with him in it. He almost died. He had some like medical issues where like literally he was like hours away from death. But he ended up kicking out, came back, and he's doing now after that he's doing rap songs. He has his own line of cannabis. He has had a resurgence over the past few years, and since he recovered. And it's a beautiful thing to see. But like Nick said, when he was bad, he was the worst, and people loved him for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Absolutely. So, Dean, who do you got next?
Oh, well, I got to go with what was number one on my list. But boys and girls, the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper.
Yes.
Roderick Toombs was. If you were watching WWF or MTV in the early 80s, from around WrestleMania 1, the man could talk you into a building just because you needed to see him get his ass stomped.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper, what he went out and did, not just in the professional world or professional wrestling world, but where he went out into the MTV and pop culture world, and like what he fucking hit Cyndi Lauper with a glass case and smashed Cyndi Lauper, who was the highest recording artist at the time. Smashed her in the face with a golden record and glass case. He would go and like the WrestleMania 1, where it was Mr. T and Hulk Hogan against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper. To taunt him, Roddy Piper would go onto the set of the A-Team with a video crew and taunt Mr. T. And I'm not 100% sure Mr. T was like aware that was going to happen, because like some of that video is Roddy Piper just being the biggest dick. And Mr. T, like you can see that gleam, and like when you see in somebody's eyes, you can tell like when a wrestler's gonna like, all right, let's go. Or you can see that gleam where like, hold on, what the fuck's happening? What'd you say? You know what I mean? Like, Roddy Piper was the first heel to blur the line so bad that, like, you almost, like, needed him to, like, as a human being, not like as a professional wrestler. You needed him as a human being to get his ass kicked by whatever Mr. T's real name is. Like, you're like, this guy's such an asshole that, like, he's, like, taking it out of, like, this, tongue-in-cheek world, and, like, he's fucking with, like, society now.
Yeah.
And he was so fucking good at it. But, again, he is one, like Nick said, that overcame, and, like, in time, people just endured
It's
it and
impossible
loved
to
it.
hate,
Correct. But, like, go back, if you want to go on a fun YouTube run, go YouTube Roddy Piper 1980s promos, and they will. That is just gold. He was so, like, Brian, the line in They Live. The director just said
he had lived that, right?
Yep, he ad-libbed chewing bubblegum, kicking ass. He ad-libbed that because, like, that's what he did for a living, is think off the cuff to piss people off. I can't say enough. I mean, I know this is Mount Rushmore, but to me, Roddy Piper is the greatest heel in professional wrestling or in entertainment in general. So,
well, he gave him his own little, like, quote unquote talk show, right?
Piper's Pit.
Yeah, he was so good that
Go
they had
back,
to give him more airtime by doing that Piper's Pit thing. Yeah.
WrestleMania, I can't remember. I want to say it was WrestleMania or SummerSlam, WrestleMania 6, around that time. Do you guys remember, Nick? You probably won't because he was retired by then, but Morton Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah.
He was on WrestleMania, and they were supposed to have a back and forth, and they actually their egos were so big, live on camera in the ring, they started, like, kind of yelling at each other in real life until, like, he sprayed him with a fire extinguisher because he was blowing smoke. And again, in professional wrestling, there's one of the bigger lines. Morton Downey just takes a drag of the cigarette and blows in his face, and Roddy Piper, with the Canadian accent, "Oh, no. Don't blow no more smoke in my face." And he blows it again. No, he did it. Oh, I told you, no, don't blow no more smoke in my face. And then he sprays him with the fire extinguisher. Roddy Piper, face or heel, was amazing. But as a heel, go down that rabbit hole, people. Roddy Piper, even if you're not a wrestling fan, you will goddamn appreciate Roddy Piper.
He even actually played the bagpipes too, right? Did he come out actually play real bagpipes the whole bit?
Yeah, he was amazing. He did it as a kid, since he was a kid. And actually, that's another fun one. If you have, then go to the A&E. A&E does those biographies. They did one on him, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah, to a point, it impacted his family, like, because he had to be careful going out in public because people really took the character very serious. Yeah. That's how he made his living. Go ahead.
This was not authentic or serious from what I understand, but it still was entertaining nonetheless. Did you guys ever see the celebrity wife swap they did with Roddy Piper and Ric Flair?
Yes.
That's fucking awesome.
Yes.
That was awesome.
That was very good.
Wow. That was good.
Probably completely staged, but entertaining nonetheless.
Sure.
Mm.
He did a celebrities ghost story thing on A&E. And I don't know if any of you two know or remember it, but he fought Adrian Adonis at WrestleMania 3, and shaved Adrian Adonis's head. Adrian Adonis left. He was a bigger guy, very flamboyant, sexually ambiguous, type character. But they were best friends in real life. And he did an A&E biography where this medium was, like, walking him around, telling him that Adrian Adonis was there in the room with them. Very strange. It was very emotional, in that. But yeah, it was very, very different. But yeah, that's the thing is like he was so popular that like he branched out even in his older age
Mm-hmm.
into pop culture and all these different avenues, whether it be Wife Swap or Celebrity Ghost Story or
Yeah, it's an entertaining guy.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, we already talked about it as well. I mean, not many professional wrestlers. I don't know anybody. I mean, Hulk Hogan certainly was in a couple of movies and things. But we talked about They Live. I mean, Rowdy, it's just that one of the
a lot of
funnest
wrestlers,
cult classic science fiction movies of all time.
a lot of wrestlers are out there doing cameos in movies, but he was the main
star of that movie.
character.
Yeah.
Right. There's very few, that get the star. The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Roddy. The list is short and distinguished.
Yep. Yeah. Very good. Great stuff. Yeah, he was number one on my list, Dean.
Remember when I was talking about me talking too much? This is one of those moments.
That's all right. Honoring one of the greatest.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's number one on my list, Dean.
Absolutely.
So I'll pick another one on my list.
Yep.
How about Jake the Snake Roberts?
Nice.
Absolutely.
That guy was like quintessential 80s looking dude, like the mullet, the greasy mullet, the tights that had the big snake down the. He had a great look. Yeah, obviously he had actual snakes. Yeah,
he didn't have to.
Right,
he didn't have to yell.
I was so mad at him when he locked the Ultimate Warrior in a room full of snakes and that cobra bit him. I was pissed.
That was
I was
so
like,
awesome.
"Fuck you, Jake the Snake."
Loved it.
I was so mad.
I was DDT. I remember the DDT move.
Oh, the DDT was the most deadliest move in the world.
Mm.
First of all, in real life, grab somebody by the head and
drive their brain into the ground.
That is probably one of the most deadliest moves you could do to somebody.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He was on something.
Yeah. He had no good qualities. Nothing. Nada. It was just always like, it's Jake the Snake Roberts. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And if you want
fun character, good.
If you want to see another one, watch the documentary show, "The Resurrection of Jake the Snake."
Yeah, with Diamond Dallas Page. And
it is
Scott
heartbreaking
Hall,
and uplifting, all in the same movie. It's actually, I highly recommend that one. That's good.
Okay, I will check that out. Yep, very good.
For my next submission, it would be completely inexcusable if I began this conversation with any other two words other than, "Hey, yo, the bad guy, Razor Ramon, the bad guy, Razor Ramon." We've been talking a lot, and that's what do we love about the bad guys? The charisma, right? The attitude, the cool factor. Razor Ramon was another one. I don't know. He was one of those blurred lines when we're like, I don't know in what capacity he was supposed to be a bad guy because he was just too cool right off the bat.
I don't even know if he had a face turn. Like, it was
never like Razor Ramon is now a good guy doing morally good things or helping the good guys. It was just everybody fucking likes this guy because he's awesome. He had the toothpick and the little curl and the it's just the whole thing, man. The vest, the Razor's Edge is one of my favorite finishing moves of all time.
Sure.
That's another one. If you actually pulled that off on somebody, taking somebody like Jesus pose backwards on your back and driving the back of their neck to the ground is like, will mess you up. But yeah, man, Razor Ramon was just always one of the favorites of mine.
Brian almost killed me doing it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hurt.
He was facing the other way behind you, but something like that.
When the Razor's Edge of the Dean's staff.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right.
And also I'll take this opportunity to add an honorable mention and slip it in there because I was going to bring them up at some point. Not only was he Razor Ramon and not only an incredible bad guy, but the bad guy in his first rendition in the WWF, but as he went to WCW, also formed one of the greatest heel groups in the New World Order in WCW, comprised of also Kevin Nash, aka Diesel, and Hulk Hogan, and many other wrestlers entered the NWO ranks as time went on, but those were the original three. Scott Hall, Razor Ramon is my pick next.
I like it.
Dean?
All right, I'm going to go old school. Brian, I think you're going to remember this name. And I'm mentioning also because he actually passed just recently, 2 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks ago. But this gentleman was the prototype. Wrestlers are now in WWE call them superstars, not wrestlers. This stems from the superstar Billy Graham. Superstar Billy Graham with his bleach blonde hair and the wild tie-dye and the rhyming. If you go back and look at even the faces or heels, everybody stole something from Billy Graham. The way Dusty Rhodes did his promos too. If you look at Hulk Hogan's early stuff before he was, Hulkamania, he was doing Superstar Billy Graham. Everybody, because he was so left field and out of his time, that everybody was like taking a little bit from Superstar because he was that good. As a heel, people hated him, but he was so influential in that world, you couldn't help but quote unquote borrow from him because he was that innovative. So a lot of people have a lot of things to thank Superstar Billy Graham for, but us as fans can thank him for being such a bastard heel that we hated. So rest in peace, Superstar Billy Graham.
Superstar Billy Graham.
Very good. Excellent. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How do you not put us on Mount Rushmore? Oh, yeah.
Now that's another one. Started out as a heel, but by the end was total face. Like,
Well, he was also one of those that could go in and out. He had this peaks and valleys. He could go seamlessly from the Macho King hated wrestler. Miss Elizabeth comes back and he's now like the most loved guy. Like he was so good at everything.
Yeah, because I feel like most of my childhood, I remember him as a face. Now I know he was a heel when I was little, but like my memory of wrestling when Macho Man was around was like he was a good guy. Like he was teaming up with Hogan, and he was like he was just like one of the everybody loved Macho Man.
He played Randy Poffo, aka the Macho Man, played minor league baseball for the Cincinnati Reds.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No shit.
His actually first love was baseball before he got into wrestling
and rapping.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Also made it in the movies. He was the wrestler that wrestled the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in the ring.
Yeah, that's
Spider-Man's first appearance.
Buzzsaw?
Buzzsaw. That's right.
Yep. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yep. Yeah, just one of the greatest characters, period, in wrestling history. Hands down. The guy was just, like I said, another guy. Any clip I see him, I just pay attention to it. He was so
electric.
On. Yeah, right. Exactly. So, yes, great Macho Man.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's my 5, by the way. That's
5.
Yeah, I have 2 more.
I'm saying we'll do honorable mention, but I'm just saying we had overlap.
Yeah,
so
we overlapped here.
Oh, okay. I've said 2 guys. I'm like, how are you?
Right.
No, I had Roddy, Macho Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Iron Sheik, Jake the Snake, and $1 Million Man. That's what I had.
And I have a bunch written down, and then I'm crossing off ones the guys say, and I'm kind of like making my 5 on the fly.
Well, I have 5,
That's
but
fine.
like I have a lot in my head, so I don't.
No, it's fine. We do honorable mention.
Sure.
I'm just saying that was my. Okay.
Well,
Nick. Who's next? Nick.
My next submission, yes, it is me. Similar to the Macho Man, right? This guy started out as a heel, but it's hard to even remember that. It was only at the very beginning because everybody loved him so damn much. He was one of my most favorite heels of all time when he actually was one. And he was completely unrivaled on the mic. Only few could really hang in the ranks with him, and it's proven in his career that's followed afterwards. When The Rock was the corporate champion, He was one of the best heels, in my opinion.
He sure was.
Certainly borrowed a lot from Ric Flair. It was that
I
very
prefer
era.
I prefer
love
heel Rock.
Yeah, before he became the people's champ, he was the corporate champ. And it was very, with the chains and the bracelets and everything was so, he was so much better than everyone. I love those characters. I just love it. The arrogance is fucking key. There's something about it that is so awesome. I think it's just because it's a mixture of the ridiculousness of someone acting that way, but also it's almost a little bit admirable that it's certainly in a world with such
he goes, I'm better than
bravado,
you, and you go, yeah, probably.
As professional wrestling, where that and these are all characters, it's so much fun to have a character like that that's so over the top and thinks they're so much better than you, and you're such a peon. And The Rock did it with the best of them when he was, when he ceased to be Rocky Maivia, first became The Rock, and therefore the corporate champion, heel version of The Rock was one of my all-time favorites.
The eyebrow wasn't supposed to be endearing.
Oh,
it was supposed to be a dick move.
Same with the smell. When he would pause, the long, dramatic pause, it was all just so over the top and just in your face.
Absolutely.
And, exaggerated and ridiculous. It was just awesome. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. So, yes, The Rock was my next one.
Very good.
All right.
Excellent.
My next one, I'm going to change it up because I think I might have the only female wrestler on the Mount Rushmore. Boys.
Mae Young.
First of all, Mae Young was a face. She was a beautiful face. But
Fabulous
her
Moolah.
friend, the Fabulous Moolah.
Oh, is that who it is?
That's exactly who it is.
Okay.
The Fabulous Moolah was so just disgusting. Not as a female person. She was just the ultimate bad guy. Because for so many years she was really the only female wrestler, because women had to go through her, so she was the champion for years and years and years and years. But she was the hated, she was the Ric Flair. She was the Iron Sheik. She, you know what I mean? Because there wasn't in her day that many female wrestlers. They weren't presented the way they are now. She was the bad guy. There was only good guys to face her. They only took, the Rockin' Robins and the Wendy Richters to fight her. You know what I mean? Because she was the champion, the ultimate bad guy. And unfortunately, from reports, I don't know for whatnot, but reports say that she was probably a bad guy in real life too.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's reports of her, when these other women would come into companies, she would take a cut of their money type deal.
She's hey fuckers, I've cornered the market here. This is my domain. I am the woman here in wrestling.
Yeah, the rumors that she wasn't real great, but again, I never met her. I don't know shit. That's what people say. All I know, as a on TV professional wrestler, she was a fantastic bad guy. Yeah. She is the female on the list. The Fabulous Moolah. Brian,
good.
Who you got?
I'm getting into some of my honorable mentions here now.
Okay.
Again, no surprise, another 80s guy. 80s. It's very, very good at being the villain. How about the ravishing Rick Rude?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
What a great pick.
That is a good one.
I'm actually a little annoyed that I didn't think of him.
Yeah. Guy was just great. It's super cocky.
Mm-hmm.
Just super
great. Your opponent's wife spray paint her face on your dick before a match is the ultimate heel move.
Somewhere,
and that was Jake the Snake.
Yeah,
Snake. And it wasn't even a actress playing his wife. He spray painted Jake the Snake's real life wife's face on his dick before SummerSlam, and then fought him. God God bless you, Ravishing Rick Rude. You actually, just thinking of that moment there, you might be my favorite heel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Now, this is a fun Nick fact. Somewhere floating around, and my mom probably has it on VHS. There is a home video of me in my living room wearing a bathrobe, doing a Rick Rude intro, saying, "And in a few, I'm probably 5 at the time. In a few moments, I'm going to take off this robe and show all you Cleveland clowns what a real man looks like."
Oh, you didn't use Sweat Hogs? Sweat Hogs was a great one to use.
Sweat Hogs.
Oh, you ugly North Dakota sweat hogs. What a real man looks like. And then, like, I tell you what, when you get out of the shower, right, before I towel off in real life, I kind of like, shake and, that way you're not getting the towel like super wet, right? And there are some moments where I do the Rick Rude where you come up from here and throw the water off. Come on. It's just fucking Ravishing Rick Rude. Why not?
Yeah. He was so good. I remember the camera would pan on him, and he would like look right at the camera, pucker up, like just all that stuff.
With that fucking beautiful mustache,
that good porn mustache. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the mullet, the '80s mullet he had going. Yeah. Oh my god!
Fun fact again, before we move on, the fun fact about Ravishing Rick Rude is that he is the only professional wrestler to appear during the Monday Night Wars on Monday Night Raw and WCW Nitro on the same night.
Wow. Really?
Because he had filmed a taping on Raw and quit because it was taped. It was, for the previous week. And then he showed up live on Nitro.
No shit.
So he's the only professional
Nitro was
wrestler.
Live. That's right.
Was live.
Yep.
And Raw was being taped. Every other was live. So he's the only professional wrestler to be on both shows in the same night.
Interesting.
And all he did was just shave his mustache when he went to the next show. Yeah. I think he wore even the same goddamn suit or something, but
yeah. Somebody's wife from WWF is still on his dick over in WCW. Like, I forgot to change.
Wait a minute, I know that lipstick.
It's the last guy. All right, am I up? Was that Brian? Yeah, with Ravishing Rick Rude.
Ravishing Rick Rude.
So
I'm sorry. I apologize, Nick. So just we talked about repainting a rival's wife on your private parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you want to take that. Just thinking about that. You want to take it to another level, right? Maybe tattoo. If you're that much of a villain, a heel. Maybe you want to actually tattoo your friend's or rival's wife in your private area. Who knows?
First of all, I'm not going to tattoo my sister on my crotch.
Yeah. Man, maybe not. I hope not. Not you personally. Maybe somebody out there. I should have picked
somebody else to be rivals with. Damn it.
Yeah.
It didn't work out like I wanted.
Somebody out there may. I don't know. If you're looking for that sort of tattoo, or something else, perhaps, check out our sponsor, Golden Heart Tattoo in Norton, at Golden Heart Norton and ORTON on Facebook. You give them a call at 234-706-2982. Look them up online at goldenhearttattoos.com. So,
and I guarantee you, when you're getting a tattoo by either one of those two, you can have this conversation, and they will, they will gladly have this conversation with you about wrestling villains.
Absolutely. Nick, back to you. Who was next on your list?
This one I'm going to go with all cool factor. One of my favorite heels, just from just the overall aesthetic of this character, was one of my favorites. Papa Shango. This was a 90s villain. He was a voodoo priest kind of character. Later, he became the Godfather. He was a member of the
Kama Mustafa.
Yeah, he was a member of the IRS. What was that? The corporate or whatever they were.
That was early Kama Mustafa, but he was part of Nation of Domination.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. Yep. So anyway, Papa Shango was a really cool character. He had the whole face paint and the tall hat and the necklace, and he'd come
He was
out
supposed
with
to be
the,
like a New Orleans voodoo priest.
Yes,
I remember that guy, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. He was another one. I don't know what it was with people locking the Ultimate Warrior in rooms with things, but he laid him down on a table and he started throwing up all this crazy shit and stuff. And it was just, that's when wrestling really started kind of toying with the storylines, taking it to the next level, where there was it was more than just cutting promos and shit talking each other. They would have little snippets of things happening elsewhere, that would lead up to the big match. But I always thought Papa Shango was just a really fucking cool character. So, like I said, he was short-lived. He didn't last that long, but I thought he was a really interesting and a unique character. So, Papa Shango, I'll throw up there.
Good. I like that.
Dean?
All right. It's the only last one before I get to my honorable mentions. I'm going modern. I'm going today. I'm going today as the biggest heel in wrestling today.
Dominic.
YouTube.
Rey Mysterio's son with the mullet.
Do you know about that?
That's spending overnight.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, we watched WrestleMania at your house. That's how I know.
No, I mean, like after WrestleMania, that kid can't get on the mic. Like the boos in the crowd are like deafening. Where like he can't after he actually starts talking, like you can't hear him.
They're that mad about the domestic disturbance on Christmas Eve.
I guess, but like people love to boo that kid.
And then he went to prison for her.
They hand him the mic and it's just deafening boos.
Yeah.
No, but I'm actually going to go with the main bad guy of today. I'm going Roman Reigns. He has just celebrated 1,000 days as champion. Wow. And he has pinned everybody and beat everybody there is, and he's unapologetic. And he is, and what they're doing in storyline now is very cinematic. Like they're doing a lot of like creative, different stories. It's almost Godfather-like, and I'm not saying Godfather film-esque, but like storyline, like he's the Godfather, that type thing. And it's done so well. And there are those times where people want to, like, the crowd starts cheering him, but he's so good as a character and as a performer. He can turn it around and make people like just destroy him with boos in, like in a sentence.
Yeah.
So the guy is like so good at what he's doing right now. It's off the chart. Definitely the last like 10 years, he's the best bad guy, best heel, best villain there is. So Roman Reigns tops my Mount Rushmore.
Nice.
Very good.
Brian?
Another honorable mention for me, Nick already touched on this a little bit earlier. How about Hollywood Hogan when Hulk Hogan went bad? I thought this is I'm getting sort of out of the wrestling a little bit more at this stage of the game, but I remember seeing a few things with him. He was a good bad guy. Hulk Hogan was just a very good character actor anyway.
Yeah,
but he played a very excellent bad guy.
Yeah, Hollywood Hogan was good on him. Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that look, by the way, like this year. I'm gonna do the black beard,
blonde mustache.
Yeah. Like the blonde,
I like that.
Fu Manchu. Yeah.
I like it.
I'm thinking about that.
I think that'll work for you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll pick up from here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead with you're good. My last submission here, this was one of my most hated heels, as he was a big rival of my all-time favorite, but Shawn Michaels did a good job at being a heel, both when he read all phases. He would turn against Marty Jannetty. He had his own little thing. He was a great solo. Honestly, great athlete, great wrestler, very acrobatic. But so he definitely was good there, and he played the part really well, right? The womanizer, the showboater, and then was also a part of DX.
I
with
hear
Triple
he was
H.
a sexy boy.
And he was a sexy boy. He was a sexy boy. He's a little cross-eyed now, but he was a sexy boy. But
Age will get you, I guess.
yeah. A lot of shots to the head and whatnot. But Shawn Michaels always did a good job. Again, I don't know how much of a full heel he ever was. People just always kind of gravitated towards him because of his charisma, and he was always very likable. But he did a good job at it, and so Shawn Michaels would probably be my last submission. If it's cool with you guys, I'll just rattle off some honorable mentions and finish up my list here. This one I was going to bring up earlier, but his time as a heel was so damn brief because everybody loved him so immediately that it's almost even funny to think of him as a heel. But Stone Cold Steve Austin was supposed to be a heel. He was presented as a heel, but he was impossible. I was one of those from the fucking drop.
Loved him as a heel.
Yeah. I mean,
and then they started turning him face.
They
and
never
stuff,
really
but
changed anything about him, though. He was always him. That's when you started to realize that, people like this. That was never the intent to turn him to face. It was just impossible to keep him as a heel because
I took the kids to a show a couple weeks ago, last year, right? And it was a house
show last year.
Whatever. It was a house. It was a house.
Time
show.
is a funny thing. Yeah.
It was a house show, and I just told them, "This is here. This is entertainment. This is fun. Boo the bad guys. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Boo the bad guys." And people didn't do that with Stone Cold.
Right.
They booed for what, a week or whatever. You know what I mean? And then,
they found out quick. I mean, especially when they pivot towards he's this anti-establishment, and he does what he wants, and they found that people related to the shit that he was doing more than they were, condemning him for this behavior. They were like, "Fuck yeah, like that guy's awesome. He fucking chugs beer and flips his boss off in the face, and he's like, he doesn't fucking care. He breaks all the rules, and he's awesome." And he was so impossible, but I mean, he was supposed to be a heel, so technically, I guess he would count. And my last honorable mention, I obviously one of my favorite heels, even though he's the opposite of Stone Cold. He was a lifetime face, and it was unnatural for him to be a heel. But when Bret Hart was a heel, I did very much enjoy that.
Good heel work.
I enjoyed the over the top pro Canadian angle, the Hart Foundation.
He has the best line. He's out in, at the ring. He goes, I tell you what, if God was, to ever put an enema in the United States, he'd put it right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Great
fucking heel line.
My favorite of all time is they always say America, love it or leave it. Well, the only thing I love about it is leaving it. And it's like, chef's kiss. Just perfectly done.
I liked him better as a heel, as a face.
I did too. I mean, like I said, it was unnatural because he was always that. And even he talks about it. He did not like doing that because it just wasn't him. But it was good. It was cool, and it was at that turn in the Attitude Era when everything pivoted away from the wrestling that those guys were used to, as to where what was good is now bad and what is bad is now good.
See,
and he had no other choice. So he didn't really change. It was more the audience changed.
Well, I even like that in that same time period, he would go to Canada or even anywhere else in the world.
He was the good guy. Yeah, everybody loved him everywhere
in America, he was a heel.
Yep.
It was the weirdest thing. Like, depending on what country you're in, if you're in the U.S., booze. Canada, a golden god.
Right, yeah. And still, he just got his walk on the Canadian, his star on the Canadian Walk of Fame.
Good for him.
Yep. So, my all-time favorite, my hero in wrestling, the Hitman. But that's it for my honorable mentions, and that rounds out my list. So.
I'm going to go two quick honorable mentions, and then I'll speak on Mr. Perfect. Kurt Hennig was... Yeah. I mean, who doesn't hate a guy that's better than you?
Right.
No matter what, he's just better than you. Triple H was just the most dastardly heel you could have.
I personally loved when he was taking sledgehammers to people's knees.
Yes,
that was just
exactly.
just fucking wrecking people with sledgehammers.
He was the boss. He's done everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to really put like an actual Mount Rushmore, he might actually make the actual cut.
Sure.
But then let me talk real quick to my last two honorable mentions. Let me talk about managers.
Mhm.
We said wrestlers, so these honorable mentions:
I think I know one.
Bobby the Brain Heenan
Yeah.
is one of the greatest performers, and just on the mic, physically, before he hurt his neck, like him bouncing around, taking bumps with the Ultimate Warrior when they put him in the weasel costume. Just Bobby the Brain Heenan on commentary mic was, again, you can go deep dive, go into Peacock and the WWE Network, and just listen to Bobby the Brain Heenan and his one-liners. He was a comedic genius, really.
Hmm.
And then my last one, I would be remiss if Megan didn't let me mention Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah, from ECW, and I
From
mean he was later in
ECW.
WWE and stuff. Yeah,
He was an advocate for Brock Lesnar. Now he's with Roman Reigns.
he was
But
Rhino. He was with Rhino for a while, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
That man could talk anybody into the building. He's just greasy and weaselly, but between his facials, expressions and his just weaselness, he's just I actually would call Paul Heyman a brilliant actor, not just a brilliant, wrestling whatever. I would call Paul Heyman a brilliant actor. So I'm going to end with Paul Heyman being on my list.
Nice. Well, I never thought of managers, but one I have to say, the
Sure.
Mouth of the South.
Oh,
I mean,
of course.
Jimmy Hart. That's
Of
one I
course.
thought was gonna pop up. I didn't even think of managers, but as soon as you
Right.
said the word, I was like, oh man, Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, man. He was
Jimmy
great.
Hart actually blends into your Shawn Michaels one because he wrote Sexy Boy.
Did he really? The song?
He actually wrote a majority of the wrestlers from the 80s and early 90s theme songs.
Oh wow.
He actually is such a gifted a musician. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 1950s band The Gentrys. He was a member of the Gentrys.
Heard. Okay.
I think they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but yeah,
Oh, shit.
he
Wow.
was a member of the Gentrys in the 1950s before he got into with Jerry Lawler in Memphis in wrestling.
Wow.
So
Very cool.
All right. Last honorable mention, by the way, Honor the Giant.
yes,
So,
of
Oh
course.
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, most physical,
Yeah.
imposing
Yep.
humans ever in the ring. Great bad guy.
I had him, like, I thought about him, and Megan stopped me. She goes, "You can't put Andre on as a bad guy." Good Princess Bride, and
I
like,
see.
I mean, he had so many years before. Like, he spent more years as a good guy as a bad guy. But Brian, you're right. Those years that he had as a bad guy were very significant. Like, he was just a dominating, silent menace.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could argue that it was WrestleMania 1, right? Was him and Hulk Hogan. I mean, if that.
No, WrestleMania 1 was him, and he won the Battle Royal, throwing out a bunch of wrestlers and professional football players.
Okay.
WrestleMania 2, he beat Big John Studd in a body slam match. And then WrestleMania 3 was him and Hogan.
Okay. But he was obviously essential in creating a spectacle of that event,
absolutely.
Just with his physical, and obviously what he brought to the table as far as his
Andre the Giant was
character acting.
Andre the Giant was one of the cornerstones of professional wrestling as we know it in general, because he was like what the spectacle was before, like, even you started like WrestleMania 1, or you know what I mean, like how we know professional wrestling. He was going throughout the territories, throughout the country, just being the spectacle, and everybody without even TV knew the name Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, he was a giant among men, and we are equally a giant among podcasts.
Yeah, eat
That's right,
shit
I
other
think.
podcasts.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Coming for you, brother.
Yep. But unfortunately, for you guys out there listening, this episode's coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Nick,
Yes.
Yeah. It took a minute. We got there.
maybe take us out on I feel, Dean, I don't know about you, I feel like just a villainous
That's what I'm
wrestler
thinking.
outtake, just something in that character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
And remember, Saturday night. That's the fight.
Saturday night's fight night.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. I'm getting really sick and tired of hearing about all these other podcasts, all these losers, these second-rate hacks sitting in their parents' basement making podcasts, acting like they're on the same level as us and convincing idiots. You know how I know that they're not on our level? Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. They're not on our level because they don't have a link tree. That's right. You don't believe me? You don't believe me, Mean Dean, and the nasty, dastardly Brian? Well, then go find out for yourselves. Go to Google, baby. Type in Convincing Idiots. Linktree, LINKTREE. Let me spell it out for you, since some of these losers out there can't spell. If that's not enough for you, you need to go over to our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. We got merch. We got links to where you can hear our wonderful voices each and every week. For all that and so much more, I have been Nasty Nick, the Millennial.
I've been the Zennial Dean.
Can you smell what the Gen X has cooking?
Did you see the interference from the picture? Have we convinced you to come and take the title from us, baby? Woo! Come get some.
Hey, Dean with Convincing Idiots. Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe.
Ham gravy.
Let's start the show.
Good.
These things are foggy as fuck.
But they're not meant to be actual sunglasses.
I would say I've also had them since I was like 4. So.
Right.
All right.
All right. Promo.